Easter game, as it were, sometimes can happen. But I think Leeds will win.
Yeah, this kind of talks to what we were talking about, wasn't it? About are Hull KR in as much trouble as we think they are? And if Leeds can give them a walloping, and I think they might, I think that'll prove it. Leeds by 18.
So we're going similar-ish there.
Yeah.
See if we go similar-ish here. St Helens are hosting the Catalans Dragons. Will they get revenge? I think they're billing it as trying to get revenge for their one defeat so far this year.
Yeah. Default, pick St Helens until you hear otherwise. St Helens to win at home by 16.
I've gone Saints by 16 too. It could be 16, it could be 30, it could be 40. I just think Saints are going to win.
Yeah.
Final game then to talk about is also Sunday 3pm kickoff. It's Warrington versus Huddersfield. So Warrington patchy at times over the Easter weekend. They lost the last home game. I don't think they're going to lose this one. I fancy them to come on strong. I've got Warrington by 4 scores.
Yeah, a bit more of a low-key fixture. Warrington to win. Warrington by 14.
Fair enough, okay. That's Super League covered. Championship game of the week. Got to look around the teams in those playoff positions, battling off against each other. Toulouse versus York. If York won this, they catch right up with Toulouse. I do fancy Toulouse on the home turf, though.
Yeah, me too. Toulouse, very difficult to beat at home. They proved it on Easter Monday. So, yeah, Toulouse for me as well.
Dropping into League One. Again, let's focus around the top of that table at this stage of the season. Whitehaven are going very strong, joint leaders against Newcastle, who are one of those teams that were heavily fancied at the start of the season. And struggling to back against the home side on form.
I'm going to go Newcastle on the basis that they had a week off last week. They didn't even play at Easter. So I'm going to go Newcastle.
Fair play. Women's Super League game of the week. I think it's got to be Castleford versus Leeds. And Cass are looking a bit like the class of this division. They did have a game over Easter. They played in the Her RL Trophy game against the Catalan ladies. They came out big winners in that one, which probably was expected on the form book. But well done to them travelling over and doing that.
Yeah.
And I just think they're going to win again.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, let's keep the Cass fans happy. Let's go for Cass in this one.
Okay, in the NRL, where will you get to see our GB players in action? Well, the Roosters versus the Dragons, Thursday 7:05 a.m. is the first place on Anzac Day. You can catch that one. Then we've got the Panthers versus the Rabbitohs, Friday 10:55 a.m. And then finally the Seagulls versus the Raiders, Sunday 5 a.m. I think they are all Sky games, so set your planners for the Sunday game and
yes.
catch the others as and when you can. And please do get your fan reviews in on the Google form for all of next week's games. Any game you watch, any game you go to, any game you follow along on the radio, or just any game that you want to chirp away at maybe your future spouse on as well. And with that, obviously it's another lengthy show, but not to be unexpected with 2 full rounds of Super Leagues to go through. I've got a little bit of a quiz for us still, though, and we're going to wrap up the show just in a second. So, Alan, the quiz is attendance-based, given that we had the new record, Super League single round aggregate attendance, which we should all be very happy about and proud of, like we talked about earlier. And so I'm going to sort of celebrate some positive attendance figures. So question 1 and 2 are multiple choice.
Okay.
So question 1. According to the Rugby League Project website, how many stadiums have an average crowd of over 10,000 for Super League games? Now, in this, I'll let you include Magic and Final venues, but exclude the grounds that have only held a single game. I mean, don't know if you fancy throwing a stab out there without hearing your options.
So it's games where Super League games have been played, more than one game, and their average attendance to those games is more than 10,000.
That's right, yeah. And you can include the Magic venues in the final, well, Old Trafford. I'll give you one.
Give you one.
The options are A, 10 grounds, B, 14 grounds, or C, 18 grounds.
Okay. So it's all the Magic events. which is Manchester, Cardiff. Have we only been to Cardiff once?
Yeah, but even if we had, which we haven't, there was 6 games.
Yeah, well, that's true, yeah.
7 games, 6 games. But we've been there 3 times anyway, so...
It's getting late. Let's go for the middle, 14.
It is 14.
Hey.
The stadiums are Headingley, the JJB/DW, the KCOM, Odsal, Halliwell Jones, Langtree Park, Valley Parade, so Bradford getting 2 grounds on the list, St James's Park, the City of Manchester, Etihad, however you will, Old Trafford, the Millennium and Murrayfield, which are 2 of the other Magic venues, Ellen Road, which has hosted 2 games both last season, and Anfield, which hosted 2 games around about nearly 20 years ago now, but ticked over that.
On the road. Yeah.
Ticked into 5 figures are there. The 4 others, there's 4 others who had a single game average, single game over 10,000. 3 of them were Catalan on the road games, 1 in Barcelona, 1 in Toulouse, and 1 in Montpellier, and the other was Wigan versus Hull FC in Wollongong last year. So
there you go.
So yeah, 14, 1 out of 3 so far.
Good
Question 2, again according to the wonderful Rugby League Project website, how many stadiums have a better average crowd than the 13,196 round 11 average crowd from this year's Super League? This time I want you to exclude the Magic venues and exclude the final venue, so exclude Old Trafford, and also exclude the grounds that have only held a single game. So we're talking about games that have held more than 2 standalone regular season games with an average attendance over that whole time of how many they've hosted of over 13,196.
Right.
And your options are 1, 2, or 3. Making it easy.
Ellen Road is one of those. I'm going to go for 2. I'm going to say there's another one.
Okay, you're wrong. It's 3.
Okay.
Ellen Road is one of those, an average of 19,698 from the 2 matches it held last year, with the Cast game having 23,000, I think it did. Headingley has had an incredible 14,295 fans average from 323 matches in the Super League era. That tells you just how successful Leeds have been.
That's an amazing average.
Half of that at Headingley for the entire duration of the 100 years before Super League. And the third one is the DW, or the JJB as it was. 13,447 across 283 matches at that stadium in Super League.
There you go.
In the history of Super League. There you go. Okay, finally, the third question. What is the highest standalone regular season single match attendance in the Super League era? And what I would do is, I mean, if you get it spot on, that's fantastic. But I'll allow you, I'll give you the win on this one if you get within 100.
Regular season.
Yep.
Highest attendance.
Yep.
See, I know what the record is at Odsal, but I don't think that's the record anymore. I think there's been more at at least a few games before that. I'm just going to say 24,020 because I know that's the Odsal record, but I think it's been beat. I think there's been a higher score than that.
Yeah, you're more than 100 out, so it's a cross for you on that one. 25,004 for Wigan versus St Helens on the 25th of March 2005. Hopefully, that record is broken at the Nou Camp. I think early ticket indications suggest that you'd be hoping for in the region of 15,000 without thinking about any locals that might be curious. So
interesting. We'll see.
We shall see on that one. Yeah. Okay. Your recommendation, we got out of the way early doors. It was the going to watch the snooker at the Crucible.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything, to be honest.
Shall I make a second one then?
Because I've just been going to rugby, and That's about
Going to
it.
rugby, that's your recommend.
I had a few beers on. Friday before and after the game, but none particularly stand out.
None that did you about.
Do you know what? I will talk about.
Go on.
I think we mentioned last week that I hope I mentioned last week. It's my cousin Kelsey's 18th birthday.
You did.
Over Easter weekend, and my uncle Pat, her dad, turned my old washing machine that I've talked about as well being broken in recent weeks into a fire pit for the sort of barbecue come whatever the kids got up to after we left them to it at tea time, and it looked really cool, and it got it off my hands, which was fantastic.
So SLP recommends washing machine fire pits. Cool.
Well, stay safe though, because there was a fire over the back alley from them that caused some real damage during the afternoon, which was a bit dramatic. But upcycling or downcycling, I think, in that sense, but reusing stuff and in creative ways.
Yeah, there you go. Very good.
Then put it in the alley, and the old rag and bone men might take it away as well for you.
They often do. You can barely leave anything on the curb here. We had one of Daisy's old swings that I finally took apart. Like last weekend or the weekend before, and I put it outside, like just expecting them to pick it up in a few days' time, and it had gone within like 2 hours. I don't quite know how they. I don't know how they know. It's like a second, like a sixth sense of they can sniff the metal. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, there you go.
Maybe the horses can like smell. Yeah, or hair clanging or something.
It's not quite the rag and bone man in that style anymore. It's a man in a transit, but there you go.
Oh well. What was your second then?
Oh, just Bourneville giant buttons. They're very nice. They've been keeping me going today. So that's all. Excellent.
Okay. Next week, we've got Wire fan Lee Whitnell on the show after his holiday. I think he's in somewhere exotic like Mexico or something.
Yeah.
So he's going to be nice and tanned up next week. And it's his birthday, I think, on Saturday as well. So hopefully he'll have enjoyed all of that and be ready and prepared to speak to us next week about next week's games and all your fan reviews of it. Remember, you can find the show on social media platforms at Super League Pod on Twitter and Instagram, facebook.com/Super League Pod, or you can email us superleaguepod@gmail.com. Find the blog superleaguepod.com. Those places are places for you to find the fan survey that we talked about what feels like ages ago now, Alan.
It's because it was.
Yeah, probably 3 hours in it, this one. Find all the shows in the normal places. Partner sponsors, please do support them. Rob's Toy Shop, who sponsored this episode as well. Enter SLP discount on checkout at Rob's Toy Shop on eBay and get 5% cash back on orders over £5, plus 1% cash back to SLP. That's SLP discount on checkout. Little Warden, who will help you if you've got a website, basically make sure nothing falls over and that stuff. Head to littlewarden.com to see what they can do for you. Masco Browns, get all your International Rugby League gear there. I did check out after they sort of congratulated me on wearing my USA cap over the weekend. I did check if it was still there. They're not available. They do have a range of caps and shirts and all of that. Use the link on our episode blog post and we get 8% of your order value to help with running costs. You can also make donations to SLP. Thank you very much to Rich Langley, who I should have shouted out earlier in the show, who made a donation this week. I will sort out a very much unsuitable for the weather woolly hat for you for your donation. But paypal.me/Super League Pod is where you can make those donations. If you donate £20 or more, you can pick from an SLP t-shirt. We have not many of those available, though. Most sizes were out, actually. Or the SLP beanie hat, which we do have a bit of stock still to share out with you lot on. And that is it for a bumper Easter edition of your favourite rugby league podcast, the Super League Pod. Thank you, Alan, and thank you to you all for listening.
Bye.